they? Who they all day? Who they? Who they all day?
So I've been gone for a week and they still suck, the Bengals. It's just, I know. It's a shock, really. Not really. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Flying Pigskin podcast. I am Tanya O'Rourke, joined remotely by one Scott Kaiser. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And drumroll, everyone. His very first time on a podcast, Reggie! Hey!
First time on any podcast?
The first time on any podcast. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I can't believe
I'm
that,
sorry
honestly.
for the loss that it had to be this one.
Yeah, well,
I've arrived.
I wish we had a better podcast for you to be on currently. The subject matter is kind of rough.
Well, I mean, you know, what better way to
wait.
get, baptized?
Okay, speaking of baptized and speaking of rough, can I bring it up?
If you want.
I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
All right. So he's on Twitter, Colin Burrows, which makes a whole lot of sense, and future Bengal.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know. If I were drafting for the Bengals, I might think that's brilliant. Are you thirsty, Scott? Good God. Did you have some salt yesterday? Okay, anyway. So, and you caught heck for it.
I did. I caught a lot of flack. Boomer Esiason on NFL Today yesterday, he made mention to how years ago he gave a Bengals helmet to one Carson Palmer.
Aha.
Before Palmer got drafted by the Bengals after he won the Heisman.
Right. Right.
He did the same thing to Joe Burrow yesterday. And Burrow, it was a lot of fun. It was all in fun. He was cool about it. He laughed it off. But he said from one former Bengal to the next Bengal, here's a Bengals helmet. And Burrow, everybody's just cracked up about it. And, it's all in fun.
Sure it is. But it's also kind of like wink, wink, nod, nod, honey, here's your future. Get used to it, right?
Coming back to Ohio.
Okay, so Kaiser, get
and
this.
on the inside, I hope he was thinking, dear God, someone save me.
He probably was.
Can I tear a meniscus real quick? But here's the thing. So
he could always pull an Eli Manning and just tell everybody he's not going to go there.
I'm worried about that. Are you worried about that? Anyone worried about that? I'm worried about that.
That was unprecedented.
No, he won't.
Joe's too humble of a guy to do that.
To.
Yeah, I've been reading about Joe Burrows. I like him.
He's nice.
Is it Burrow or Burrows?
Yeah, drop the S.
It's just Burrow. No S.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really and it's so sad that we're coming off a game against the Patriots, and this is how we're starting out. But you got crap for it on Twitter.
Yeah.
People came to your aid. People, listen, you weren't trying to be mean to Andy Dalton, right?
Oh, no, not at all. And Andy has been getting questions about Burrow and about his future for the last, half a season.
And after that game last night, or yesterday, I guess it's fair to ask him a lot more questions. Because I've always said, I like Andy Dalton. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a good quarterback, and he has no one around him to help him whatsoever. But Scott Kaiser backed me up here. That was awful.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but did we expect anything else?
And again, I don't think it's all his fault.
It makes it so absurd that the Patriots, I mean, I guess they just film everybody and it's just when they got caught. But the idea that they would need to film the Bengals in order to gain any type of tactical advantage.
It helped a lot.
Have you seen this team
It helped
play?
a ton. Although for the first half, I don't mind telling you, it's on in the house. I'm hosting a brunch yesterday. My kids are home from college and they're watching it. I keep walking in and out of the kitchen. What's going on? We're like, we're tied? I'm like, no, wait, what? And then we're up. Like, what? On the Patriots, which I know has not been a great thing as of the last few games, but come on. They stuck with him in the first half. It felt
impressive.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Every time I walked by, Joe Mixon had the ball and was running, and it was having a great run.
They established the run game early, which, earlier this season, I'm old enough to remember when Joe Mixon rushed 6 times for 2 yards in a game this season.
You're old enough. Well, it's one that was actually, unfortunately, a highlight for a while.
Twice to end the half.
Right.
They could have gone into the half leading.
So that was the thing. Those were the turning points. So baffling play calling. 4th and 1. You line Andy up in the shotgun. Keenan actually did a package about it yesterday. But you line Andy up in the shotgun and you give it to Mixon, and he is not even close.
Right,
Turnover on downs. And then the punt. Matthew Slater might have gotten there just a little early, but it was, I guess, simultaneous. Erickson drops it, and these are two turning points. I said yesterday, those are things that if you're a good team, maybe you can overcome that. But when you're a bad team and you're fighting, scratching, clawing, fighting for wins, you can't do things like that.
We never ever thought, I mean, no one on the planet thought that they were, probably even the Bengals, probably did not think they were going to win that game, though, right, guys? I mean, there was no, even as you're watching that first half, did you even for a glimmer think this could actually happen?
This was a loss before they announced the schedule last year. When they they announced opponents and they said Bengals will be playing the Patriots last year, it was a loss then. So it's not as if it comes as any surprise. I think the bigger surprise was that they hung with them in the first half.
That's what I'm saying, right? It felt good for a minute.
Said, I mean, they can't make mistakes like that. I mean, they're elementary type stuff
too. What do you mean they can't make mistakes like that? They make mistakes like that every week. I know.
They can't. They certainly can.
That's what they've
been doing all year. But I mean, you can't do that against any team, let alone the Patriots. So,
but what just like for real?
So
Patriots didn't look that good.
No, okay, and that's the thing. So
and they haven't for about 4 or 5 weeks now.
Right?
No, they haven't. But so last night I had Jim Breach, Rodney Heath on Sports of All Sorts. Just a shameless plug there. 11:30.
Yeah, just keep
Sunday
plugging
night.
it. Keep it plugging.
So Jim is always glass half full guy,
right?
And I kind of subscribe to what he was talking about lately. So yesterday, the third quarter was treacherous.
It was awful.
It was awful, but they played them good enough to have a chance. That third quarter snowballed on them so terribly and just ballooned the lead. I came back to the station at halftime, and by the time I sat down at my desk, turned the TV on, they were already down by 2 more touchdowns than it was going into halftime. I'm like, yo, I was just there, and it looked hopeful. It just snowballed really quick. And I think if they hadn't made some of those mistakes, maybe that game wouldn't have been as lopsided.
Got that out of hand. I don't know. Kaiser, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean,
am I crazy?
I was keeping an eye on it because I took the kids to see Santa, but I'm sitting there thinking if they can hang out, with the Patriots like that again in the second half and be in a position to make a move, like they could have, possibly won that game. But, then the second half started. And like Richard said, before you could blink, it was like, oh, nope, never mind. This is what we expected.
No,
so
but
from that point, I kind of tuned it out.
Truthfully, we always do expect in the land of Bengal that when they go in at halftime, they're going to, and this doesn't matter who's coaching this team. You go in at halftime, the other team's going to make adjustments to the positive, and for whatever reason, the Bengals are not. And I know that is one of the most Bengal fan statements to make, but there it is.
But this year's, it's been like even more so.
Do you think so?
It's been even more so.
So you're there. You're in the locker room with these guys. You're down.
It seems like 4th and short, you guys have been going in shotgun formations quite a bit and not been able to convert. Is there a particular reason why you guys are leaning on that formation and then leaning on Andy and maybe some of these running backs to try to get 5-6 yards when it should be a 1-yard situation?
Yeah, it served us well for our backs to have great vision coming downhill, and we'll see it. It was just lost a one-on-one up front, and that was one of our keys to victory. Is we got to win those one-on-ones up front, and that's what it looked like happened on that 4th and 1.
Do you, as a running back, do you like seeing you guys come out in a shotgun formation on 4th and 1? It seems like you guys are doing it quite a bit this year.
I mean, coach called a play, and you know what I'm saying, we got to execute, and they get paid on the other side too. They made a play, and we just they got to fire off on the ball with the O-line. For me, I got to go get that first down, and I ain't do it. And, I put that up on me. But, we got to be better. And, I put that upon myself to, put my team in the best position to win.
Maybe finding an offensive play caller that can execute what it is that he's trying to do on offense and maybe pull it back a little bit and just be the head coach, because it works for some guys. Sean McVay out in L.A., where he came from, he calls his own plays. Sean Payton down in New Orleans, Andy Reid in Kansas City, they call their own plays and are able to manage the game. But for a first-time head coach like him, who was a position coach before, That's tough. That's really tough for him to manage the ebb and flows of a game like that. And there have been a lot of baffling play calls, especially the last 5 or so weeks, that you're just like, what is happening out there? Like that 4th and 1 yesterday, or last week with the Browns, that 4th and goal, and he runs a draw with Andy to try to score there. It's like, whoa, did you really think that was going to work? I think, to use a cliche, sometimes maybe he gets a little too cute with some of his play calling.
Hey, you know what? On that note, real quickly, we have actually a soundbite from Keenan Singleton asking Coach Taylor and Joe Mixon about that 4th and 1 play call.
It seems like 4th and short, you guys have been going to shotgun formations quite a bit and not been able to convert. Is there a particular reason why you guys are leaning on that formation and leaning on Andy and maybe some of these running backs to try to get 5-6 yards when it should be a 1-yard situation?
Yeah, it served us well for our backs to have great vision coming downhill, and we'll see it. It was just lost a one-on-one up front, and that was one of our keys to victory. Is we got to win those one-on-ones up front, and that's what it looked like happened on the 4th and 1.
Do you, as a running back, do you like seeing you guys come out in a shotgun formation on 4th and 1? It seems like you guys are doing it quite a bit this year.
I mean, coach called a play, and we got to execute, and they get paid on the other side too. They made a play, and we just got to fire off on the ball with the O-line. For me, I got to go get that first down, and I didn't do it. And, I put that up on me, but, we got to be better. And, I put that upon myself to, put my team in the best position to win.
That's very nice of Joe to say.
Isn't that nice? Gosh, that was a nice. I thought I wasn't going to start out so well, I thought, and then it got better. I was like, he called the play, and I had to do the dumb play. But no, I didn't go there. That was actually nicely said.
That was good.
Good job, Joe.
Yeah, Joe. I like that.
But I feel like a but's there.
That ain't it.
I think the but comes in the fact that he's kind of in a similar situation, speaking of coach, as Finley at quarterback, in that he's behind the 8 ball. Finley doesn't have receivers, doesn't have an offensive line. It's just not a talented team. Mm-hmm. So there's no real good gauge on what he could do when, the situation he was put in. And it's kind of the same situation with coach. I don't really know how good of a head coach or a play caller he was this season, mostly because they're always playing from behind, or they're always playing through mistakes, and they're always doing these things. So, yeah, for him to be trying to learn on the fly, and this being his first time, calling the plays and being a head coach, like there's so many things going on as a head coach that you've got to worry about during the game. And for somebody who, hasn't called plays like that to be trying to do that, I mean, that has to be tough. So it's like, how good is he at it? Well, it's tough to know when the team itself is not very good to begin with. Like, I mean, if it's kind of juxtaposed to like Cleveland, Freddie Kitchens was sitting there calling the plays before he got the head coaching gig. And that was part of the appeal, was that they were just going to keep the same offense. He's going to call plays. Well, you've seen some of the same things with him up there, is that once you become a head coach, there are so many other things that you have to worry about outside of calling the plays.
Yep.
And to go from a quarterback's coach to now calling the plays and being the head coach, that's a huge jump. So I
agree
think
with
we
that.
really have any idea how good of a play caller or a head coach he is in this first year. And again, it's just like, well, there's spurts of good and there's spurts of bad and question marks. And you were going to see that no matter what, because it's his first time doing this. But it's not a great position to be put in with a team like this, where it's so talent deficient.
So true. And I do suspect, and we've mentioned it before, so Reggie, since you're just joining us, and some of you listening might just be joining us for the first time, we've mentioned it before that it sure feels like there are going to be a lot of changes in position coaching and coaching staff in general in the offseason, or maybe there should be, not necessarily at the top. That's not what I'm suggesting, but that he will swap out some guys for the guys he really wants. And as you guys have said, maybe gets himself an offensive coordinator or play caller, something to take some of that load off him. Because I think it was a little aggressive for him to think, hey, yeah, I've never coached an NFL. I've never head coached a team. And I'm going to come in and be a head coach of a team and call the plays. I mean, I thought that was really ballsy.
Yeah, it was funny. I've been talking to one of my friends. We always go back and forth talking sports. And he was like, in Cleveland, they gave the keys to a luxury car to a janitor. And I was like, oh, that's kind of
rough.
aggressive. but
Jeez.
but it kind of makes sense because Freddie seems to be in over his head in Cleveland. It seems to be the opposite in Cincinnati. They gave Zach Taylor the keys to a hoopty. And they're just like, they're like, yo, make this thing run for 100,000 miles.
But I think the question I have, and I go back to for both of you, is they gave him a hoopty car, but in reverse from Freddie Kitchens, he's not. Is he the janitor or is he like some magician? Hoping
they were hoping, I guess, that he was a magician.
What is he?
I think it's too early to tell.
I know.
I think it's way too early to tell. If you listen to
this whole year was, partially it was done half.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was done half measured. Like I kept harping on it last year that if you were going to bring in a new head coach, you needed to dump all of the old players and pretty much make it a blank slate. And they kind of did half steps. So I think this season, they waited so long to bring him in. I think this offseason is going to be really telling. Do they kind of clean house with the coaching staff and do get the guys that, one, weren't available last year that are now going to be available because they, either are ready to move on from their team or get fired or whatever. So he gets guys that are available that weren't last year, and he gets his pick earlier in the offseason because, he's not waiting until after the Super Bowl when he got hired to try to fill all these spots. And he'll also have the benefit of, guys weren't going to jump ship from where they were, last year because it's like, first year head coach. I'm not going to, let's see what happens. And now at least they're like, they can see what he's done and if it meshes with what they want to do and there's a little bit more stability. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think you're going to see hopefully them change a few things on the coaching staff and also with this personnel and playing staff. And then next year, you'll have a better gauge.
With Burrow under center.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll have a better gauge of how he is as like any criticism as far as like how the team is run and how the offense works next year, then will be a lot more valid.
I agree.
Because you have a sample size of, now you have 2 years. And especially if he brings in the guys that he wants and that now he had his pick of, then it'll be like, well, where are we at with?
Kaiser, you just use sample size. I just really like this jargon you're giving me. It's so good.
To his point though, if they're going to be real about the situation, help Zach. Like legit help Zach.
Help Zach.
They aren't, they try to hit on their draft picks. They haven't hit on a lot of their draft picks over the last 5 years, which has been a problem, which is why they're kind of in the situation that they are in right now. But they're also not a big player in free agency. And so that kind of hurts the team as well. I think
that is a terrible overstatement. They don't do anything in free agency.
Exactly. So if you're really going to want to see Zach succeed, you are going to have to spend a little bit of money, maybe not a little bit, a lot of bit of money maybe in offseason to try to get him some talent because every week, if you listen to Zach every week, God love him. He's super optimist.
Such a nice guy.
But he tells the truth. Yesterday he said guys aren't beating one-on-ones. Guys aren't winning their one-on-ones. Yesterday he said that guys got bullied on the outside. That was very... Yeah. That was very telling that he said that. And he's a nice guy, but he kept it real. He was like, look, we've been getting bullied all season. All those picks that Andy threw yesterday aren't all on him. No. Guys aren't winning one-on-ones outside.
I do feel sorry. You talked about Andy Dalton. I my heart breaks for him a little bit because I feel like he is trying out for his next team right now.
Yeah.
And I think someone's going to pick him up. He's not that old.
Hoopty, though.
I know. I mean, I don't know that I don't imagine the Bengals. What's his situation? Is he a free agent after this season? Or
he's got a year left.
I think he's got. Yeah, I was going to say he's got a year left, but it's the same thing as it was last year, where I think financially, if they cut him, they wouldn't be on the hook for very much.
Well, I mean, maybe you keep him and. No.
You got to find the next guy.
It is really time to
let him free.
Oh, no. I'm not saying he's your starting quarterback, but do you keep him in the stall?
No. Well,
no. Again, you'd have to get rid of that stuff. You've got to turn the page on the whole Marvin Lewis regime and make this Zach's team and stop having guys that, aren't the future just hanging around.
Yeah.
I wish this were next season already because I would love to just flash forward if we have a good draft. And I feel like obviously we're just talking at this point, like this is such a bummer season. And that's pretty clean. It's such a bummer season. I wish we could look ahead and go, wow, they're really building and it's exciting, because there is no excitement about this team in any way, shape, or form. None. I would love to see Andy Dalton I'm wishing him a good game so that he can go on and find a new place to play, because, he has been a good guy. I'm thrilled to see Joe Mixon, not finally, but this season really starting to kind of get some yards underneath him.
75 yards away from 1,000. Who would have thunk it?
I would. The first, come on, seriously, the first 4 games of the season, seriously, guys, would you have ever thought that?
He wasn't finding any room to run at all. He was frustrated too. And somehow, I don't know what changed, but they changed something up, and he's finding holes to run through because he's been killing it the last couple weeks.
Well, should we listen to Coach Taylor talking about that fact? Same thing? Let's do that.
I've been proud of Joe the entire season, and I think he and the line are very much in tune with each other right now. I think there's been, Jim Turner's done a great job with Jamal Singleton putting a great plan in place, and our guys believe in it. They understand how to execute it. Unfortunately, we just haven't been able to do all the things on offense that would lead us to winning more football games. But that's certainly an area where those guys have done what we've asked them to do this last half of the season.
Yep. All right. So here's what I think is interesting is that I know that Miami is not a good team. Mm-hmm. They are significantly better than the Bengals. They've got 3 times as many wins. And yet the Bengals are going to Miami this weekend, where they could clinch the first round draft pick by losing. Actually, I even think if they win it, could they clinch it either way? Yes, either way. And they are, Miami is only favored by 1 point. That's not even home field advantage. And I just feel sorry for Miami, because they must not have any faith in you at all, because, they're better than the Bengals.
I hope the combined score in that game is like 70 points. Like, just line it up and just go at it. I hope it's Fitzmagic everywhere.
Let the defense stand aside.
Just Andy just throwing bombs to guys that we don't know who they are. And
we didn't know who half of them were yesterday.
Just let it rip. I want to see 70.
You want to see 70? Are you surprised? Anyone surprised by this? I know Miami's not good, but seriously, they're only favored by a point?
Well, remember, 5 short weeks ago, we thought that it might be a situation where we were coming into it with 2 winless teams playing for Joe.
Yep.
And now, somehow Miami found a way to win 3 games. I still don't know how that happened.
Kaiser, how does this happen?
Because it's the NFL and weird things happen. And the Falcons go into San Francisco and beat the 49ers and upset me. But,
you poor thing.
Ooh.
Stop it.
Julio.
Things like that can happen. And so, it is what I'm the exact opposite, though. At the beginning of the year, we circled this as going to be like the battle for the number 1 overall pick, and it was going to be the toilet bowl. I want it to be that. I want the final score to be 2-0. It'd be a baseball game.
A safety.
And the safety to end the game. Like, I just wanted to just be the most awful game ever and live up to the hype that we had built it up to all season. Like, I'm disappointed that Miami went and ruined this by having 3 wins.
How dare they?
Yeah, this was supposed to end in a tie, and 2 winless teams, or 1-win teams come out, and still there'd be no determining factor leaving the game.
If they tied, that would have been so great.
That would be awesome.
It would have just been hilarious. Like, I'm here for the jokes.
How do we watch this game with some fun? Is there a drinking game? Is there some buzzword we can, there's something fun that we to make out of this game for us? Anything, guys? Because we got to find some novelty in all of this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I can't imagine.
I see Brian needs our producer's wheels spinning.
You got mine spinning.
There needs to be some sort of like a toilet. If you hear the words toilet bowl or something like that, that's like a drink. Something like that. I don't know. How many times can they say this or that? What? Yes, sir. Brian, are you trying to say something?
What if you drink on every punt?
All right.
It's going to be a long day, then.
Turnovers or like shots? I don't know. It should be crazy.
It's going to be some drunk people on Sunday.
We don't condone any of this, by the way.
Goodness.
And
Well, from the safety of your home.
it's true.
Yeah.
If you are of age and you can do that and not beat your dog or something afterwards, that'd be great.
I'm excited for Fizz Magic.
But are you?
Fizz Magic is alive and well always, and I'm excited to see he's playing against his former team.
Yes.
I think he's gonna throw for like 300, 3 touchdowns at least. Light it up. I just want to see it. I want to see him and Andy Dalton go toe to toe.
We just need to have fun with this one, you guys, because
Yeah.
there is nothing going to be good or exciting about this game. Nothing. And
No.
watch it be the greatest game ever played.
I'm excited. I'm so looking forward to it. I wish I was going.
Do you?
I wish I was going.
Road tripping for the station? You sure you're not going?
No, I wish though.
I think we gave up on that this season, haven't we?
We did.
When's the last road game we went to?
We stopped before they went to Oakland, so
Oh, see?
the Oakland trip was the one that we didn't go to.
Wow. Talk about a
On
give
down.
up. We went,
Yeah.
nah. No.
Missed a chance to see one last game in that dump. Man, that's unfortunate.
That place is a piece of. I've never been there, but
Me
I
neither.
have heard.
I've been there for an A's game, and that was in '96, and it was a dump then.
Yikes.
All right, so Miami's favored by 1 point. We get to clinch no matter what we do. Win, lose, draw.
That's beautiful.
We're getting the first round draft pick.
That's beautiful.
Hold on a minute. There's a clarification.
Well,
We have
actually,
a clarifying point.
If they won their 2 games, I think that
Okay, so
There'd be some
a
type of-
loss clinches it, though. A loss,
I was gonna say a
win,
loss, I think,
a win,
clinches it.
we still got something to watch
No,
for.
yeah. If there's a win,
Basically, if the Bengals win any game
Okay.
or Miami loses, or excuse me, if the Bengals lose any game
Right.
or Miami wins any game, we get the first round draft pick.
Well, there's no doubt the Bengals are going to lose at least one of these games, right? We're not going to
you
go.
would think. You see the Browns
Miami
yesterday?
and the Browns.
I know it's Miami and the Browns.
Did you see the Browns yesterday?
I did not. How bad?
They were pretty terrible.
How can a team
They got
start
beat by
out so
Arizona.
well?
Yeah. It was awful.
Okay.
Janitor gave
Jan-
the keys to a janitor.
If we win
Yeah.
over Miami,
Yeah.
for us to lose that first round draft pick,
Yeah.
Miami would also have to beat the Patriots in week 17.
Oh, God bless.
Okay, that is not going to happen because unfortunately for the poor Dolphins out there, I think the Patriots, by now we would all have expected that Tom Brady was going to go out there for a couple snaps and then sit his butt down for the last couple games because they had nothing to play for. They got stuff to play for here.
Yeah.
And not only that, they have pride to play for
And they
because they have
always-
looked horrible.
And they always find a way to lose to the Dolphins for some reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember last year, Gronk
That's right.
making that tackle, couldn't make it, just getting burned to the end zone.
See, it would be such a Bengal thing to screw this up at the 1 yard line and have the world entirely root against us, and we end
they
up
are
not
in the
getting
red
the first.
zone for the first round pick.
In the red
And that's
zone.
a scary place to
Yeah,
be.
because they don't score touchdowns. They kick field goals.
Yeah, see, Reg, you're still new to this whole Bengal malaise, and the truth is, every time something decent could happen for this team, Lucy snatches the football away from Charlie Brown as he's trying to kick it. And that's,
yikes.
I mean, am I wrong?
Yikes.
Like seriously, Carson Palmer, we're in the playoffs. This is our year.
Oh,
And they
that's
snap
brutal.
his leg.
That's brutal. That is brutal.
Andy Dalton, we were like 8-0. Andy Dalton breaks a finger. Like, why? Why? We were in the playoffs. And who were those idiots that did had personal fouls and it's just screwed it. And then Ben Roethlisberger's out and he comes running back out onto the field. And it's like the Disney music is playing and and of course we lose.
You okay?
No,
No, I can tell.
I know. It's been a rough
2
year.
years in a row to the Texans.
Oh, yeah, that was
2
really
years in a
rough.
row.
That was really rough.
So they're going to find a way to
Yeah.
not get that
And
first round draft pick.
the 1 year, it was the Texans had lost their starter and they had to start the backup. The backup
Wait.
team in the playoffs.
We love backups. Backups love playing against the Bengals. They look so good. It's unreal.
It's awful. But remember week 1, though, this year? They
Yeah.
played against Seattle, and they played good enough. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
It
this
seems like
Bengals
what-
team.
we were like,
million years
what?
ago.
Whoa, they
What?
were like, oh, man, this
Does that
Zach
feel-
Taylor guy.
Gosh, he's a
Woo,
genius.
He is a genius. And then it just went,
And then the wheels on the what are we driving? Not a Cadillac here. It's
it's a hoopty.
a hoopty. The wheels just went. The hubcaps are rolling down the hill into the
Yeah.
river.
real quick, back to Burrow, though.
Oh, you actually want to talk about this? Sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm going to talk about it because I'm assuming, but one way or the other, if Burrow comes here, people should remember that it takes more than him. Like, he's not going to just come in here.
No.
That offensive line has still got to be fixed. And
They did yesterday,
they
though.
draft
That was nice.
this great hope, and he comes in here, and he's the local kid, and yada. Like, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done throughout the draft and, the off season as far as getting players in here that, like, he is not just
all be drafted.
Plug and play answer. So, despite people's excitement for the potential there, that he's not a fix-all.
No, and like, seriously, you're right. He's not. And to put that on him will ruin him quickly, as we do. And so,
and they can't all be drafted, as you said.
They can't all be drafted.
They got to spend some Skrilla.
They're like $40 million under the cap.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're at the salary cap floor at this point.
So they're not even. So they just say salary floor because there's no cap. I mean, the cap is so far above them they don't even see it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're at the floor.
And it's going up. So there'll be more money.
Yeah, you got to spend some. You got to spend something.
Is it true? Because someone was railing about this to me the other day, and they were saying, every bit of money the Browns do not spend under that cap, they pocket. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
I mean, that's just plus every time you buy a Dolphin shirt or you buy a 49ers gear, he gets 1/32 of it in profit. So. I don't know. There's no way to do it because it's a private entity, but we got to hold his feet to the fire and make him spend some cash.
Something. Maybe he could start by paying AJ Green.
Do you think AJ Green's really going to be here?
I don't know. But it's weird because you do have money to spend and they're being so tight with it. And this is literally your franchise player.
Yeah, just like Andrew Whitworth. I mean, it's just not worth it. He's just getting old.
I mean, I guess.
No,
Andrew is just now looking like Father Time is catching up with it. But he's 38.
He's 38.
Still playing football.
He could have retired wearing Bengals stripes, and he didn't do that because they were tight with him.
But he played in the Super Bowl last year.
Yes, he
so
did.
That was,
Yes, he did.
He's doing better.
Still not happy about it.
He's
so don't let that happen to poor AJ Green because he's such a good guy. What's the deal? Is he really hurt? Is he really hurt?
All right.
Oh.
Here we go. So I think his ankle is not 100% per se, but I think in past years, maybe he gives it a go.
Right.
But,
something to live for, something to try for.
Yeah, but because they are, playing with the money's looking a little funny.
Yeah.
He wants them to put some respect on his check. And so maybe he's just like, I could go out and play, but my ankle is not, good enough for me to, have an off-season surgery and, risk my future.
That's been the prevailing theory on this podcast for a while. It's a business decision.
This is straight old business.
Even if he's at 99%, it's like, why risk it?
And the minute they took Andy out the first time, he was like, nope.
Yeah.
Nobody, nope.
It's a smart choice. Careers are short, and injuries can happen on any play. There's no reason to go out there for a 1-13 team and risk it.
It's got to suck though for him to not play at all for a whole season not playing.
I'm sure it's eating at him because these athletes are competitors and they want to play, they want to compete, they want to try to win, and he's not even getting out there on the field. So I'm sure it's eating at him, but he's like, well, it's going to eat at me more if I don't get what I feel like I deserve.
Well, all right. So let's talk about this week because, this is all just so painful. At Miami, Miami is only a 1-point favorite. How's this going to shake out, guys? I say the Bengals win this one.
You think?
Well, yes, because they're going to be the most Bengal end to the Bengals season, the worst season ever, and they're going to win. They're going to win out.
They're going to win out.
Yep.
That's scary.
I don't think they'll win out, but I think they do win this game just to make the fans sweat one more week to lock up the
just to make us watch.
They got to do it. They got to do that, right?
Right. So do they win or do they lose, the Bengals?
I think they win a close one.
Okay,
but I do actually think that Reggie's right. I do think this is going to end up being just a shootout.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to that. I'll say they win too.
And I like our drinking game idea. And I think we start like spreading that around.
Okay.
We got to
We're talking
refine
like
it.
38, 34 Bengals.
I'll take my shot as an apple juice, though.
That's fine.
Okay.
You can drink aloe water. I don't care.
Vacation starts for me on Wednesday, so I'll be sauced up from now until I come back at the end of the year.
Keep it saucy, my friend. Keep it saucy.
So whatever drinking game we got for the Bengals, I'm in.
You're in?
I'll be in well before
After
it starts.
Friday, I'm off till next year. So
Can we put a
Right.
live
That's
cam
me on the
in
18th,
on
so.
both of you all's living rooms that day?
sure, I
Okay.
think that would be fun. But Kaiser, what stinks for you is pretzel day's not till Friday.
This Friday?
This Friday.
I thought you took pictures from this
I'll
weekend.
do pictures, but I always give them out on my last day at work.
Wednesday. What the?
Do you know about my pretzels yet?
No. Well, this is news to me. Breaking news.
Breaking news, I make these pretzels. Well, I don't actually make the pretzels. The pretzels are already made. I just add chocolate and caramel to them.
Oh, no, you don't.
They're so good. You know what I better find in my drawer when I get